state of the franchise for the Los Angeles Rams. So the Los Angeles Rams finished this past NFL season with a 10-6 record. They went to the playoffs. They defeated the Seattle Seahawks in the wild card round, and they were defeated 32-18 by the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round of this year's playoffs. Now, hear me out. I think that the LA Rams have a Super Bowl window right now with Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford is a huge upgrade over Jared Goff. And there are a lot of people out there who don't think Matthew Stafford is that good of a quarterback. Let me tell you guys something. Matthew Stafford may be the most unfairly criticized quarterback in NFL history. Matthew Stafford gets all the blame for Detroit's failure, despite being on one of the worst ran organizations in the history of the NFL. Matthew Stafford may be one of the greatest Hall of Fame talents wasted in the history of the NFL. And think about it. Think about all of the Hall of Fame talents that the Detroit Lions have wasted in the past, like Calvin Johnson, for example, Barry Sanders. The Detroit Lions have wasted careers of some really good players. Okay, so you look at Matthew Stafford now, going to the LA Rams. He's going to have everything that he ever wanted with the Rams that he never had in Detroit. One thing that he never had in Detroit that is really important to how good a quarterback is, or how much postseason success a quarterback has, is the head coach. If you don't have a good head coach, you're not going far in the playoffs. Look at Bill O'Brien of the Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien, at best, at his peak, was an above-average head coach, but he never won the divisional round. The best coach that Matthew Stafford ever had during his tenure in Detroit was Jim Caldwell. And Jim Caldwell, his best was, making it to the divisional round, I think. That was it. Even then, Detroit has never really had a lot of postseason success in the playoffs because they never really had a great head coach. On top of that, they never gave Matthew Stafford a run game. Matthew Stafford has played in a lot of games for Detroit, and he's only had a run game or a 100-yard rusher a handful of times out of his long tenure career with the Detroit Lions. So now he's going to be playing for the LA Rams with one of the best head coaches in the NFL, Sean McVay, who is an offensive mastermind. He's going to have a great offensive line. He's going to have a good run game led by Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers. He's going to have a good group of wide receivers. You're going to have Cooper Kupp. You're going to have Robert Woods. You're going to have Van Jefferson, who I believe Van Jefferson could have a breakout season in 2021 for the Rams. You have what should be a really good defense. My question is, how good would the Rams defense be without defensive coordinator Brandon Staley? Because Brandon Staley, remember, he took the head coaching job with the Los Angeles Chargers. So if the Rams defense can just be, a third of what they were this past year, the Rams are going to be Super Bowl contenders. And in my opinion, if I had to make a way too early Super Bowl prediction right now, the Rams would be my pick to make it to the Super Bowl and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl next year in 2022 in Super Bowl 56. Because I really feel like Jared Goff held back the LA Rams this year. And I know football is a team game. It is the ultimate team sport. And you just can't single out one player. And I understand that. But you can have weaklings on the team. You can have players that can hold you back from reaching your potential. And Jared Goff was just way too inconsistent. Matthew Stafford isn't going to have any Jared Goff-like performances when he just completely craps the bed like how Jared Goff did against the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. The LA Rams, if we're being honest, really should have been 13-3 this past year, not 10-6. When Jared Goff played at least average, the Rams won. When he played below average, the Rams lost. So you look at Matthew Stafford on the LA Rams, he may be the biggest acquisition that the Rams have had in a very long time. Now, yeah, you have to give up a lot of your future assets to get a guy like Matthew Stafford. You may have given up a little bit too much. But if you're the LA Rams, you don't really care about the future. You care about now. You care about trying to win Super Bowls. Like, there is more than one way to build a great franchise. And the Rams build their franchise by being aggressive in free agency and making trades. And in all honesty, I really agree with what the Rams do. Why would you keep a first round pick when you don't really know how good his career is going to turn out? He could either be really good or he could be a bust. I'd rather use that pick and trade it for a guy with like Jalen Ramsey that I know I'm going to be getting. I know when the Rams traded that first round pick for Jalen Ramsey in that trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they knew that they were getting an all pro caliber corner. They knew that they were getting one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Instead of, drafting the cornerback and maybe he ends up being really good, ends up being a bust. So for the Rams, I like the way they run their franchise. They are super aggressive and they don't really care all that much about the future. They care about trying to assemble the best team possible to win the Super Bowl. So for the Los Angeles Rams right now, I think that they are my favorite to win the Super Bowl next year behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really like the LA Rams a lot. You have the reigning defensive player of the year in Aaron Donald. Okay, you have a really good defensive line. You have a really good secondary, even though you're going to have to be able to work out a couple of deals with a couple of guys in that secondary. You already got Jalen Ramsey. Okay, now you're going to have to work out something with Darius Williams, because I believe that Darius Williams, who had 4 interceptions this year and 14 pass deflections, is a restricted free agent. You also have free agent cornerback Troy Hill, who is going to be a free agent this offseason. He had 2 pick sixes this year on 3 interceptions. And you have outside linebacker Leonard Floyd, who is coming off a career season with 10.5 sacks. But really, in all honesty, I think that a lot of you guys are really sleeping on the LA Rams. And if you are an LA Rams fan right now, you have to be really, really optimistic about the direction that this franchise is heading, because you are still a premier Super Bowl contender. And I think, as a matter of fact, the Rams have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl this year or next season than the Green Bay Packers do. Because the Green Bay Packers, are way too conservative for me. To be a Super Bowl team, you have to take risks sometimes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers took a risk. They signed Tom Brady. Tom Brady, for all we know, could have declined. The Denver Broncos took a risk when they signed Peyton Manning. To be a Super Bowl team, you have to take risks sometimes. The Patriots have taken risks on several players like Randy Moss, for example. Randy Moss was a troubled, high-maintenance player. The Patriots traded for him, or they acquired Randy Moss. And Randy Moss ended up being a really big part in the Patriots' success. Even though they lost the Super Bowl and he wasn't able to catch the Super Bowl with the New England Patriots, he was still a really big part in the New England Patriots Super Bowl runs. So every Super Bowl team has to, take some chances. They have to take some risks. Now, the LA Rams are in a really competitive division. They may be in the toughest division in all of football, because you got them, you got Seattle, you got the 49ers, you got Arizona. You have 3 other teams in your division who are playoff teams, or if you're in Arizona's case, borderline playoff teams. And you look at the quarterback hierarchy in that division, okay, you got Russell Wilson, you got Matthew Stafford. You have essentially either the 3rd or 2nd best quarterback in your division, depending on how you look at Kyler Murray. So you look at the Rams right now, I think the Rams, if they're able to keep, maybe Leonard Floyd, or maybe find a way to keep Darius Williams, since he is a restricted free agent, they have a really high possibility of keeping him. But they're able to keep Leonard Floyd and Darius Williams. That's also going to help out that defense as well. Now, I wonder how that defense is going to look this year. But, I still think that defense should still be pretty good. So, for the Rams, you have an offensive guru in Sean McVay. He is going to get the most out of Matthew Stafford. We may see, some potential in Matthew Stafford that has yet to be unleashed yet. Now, Matthew Stafford, a lot of people think Matthew Stafford has hit his ceiling, which is understandable. But now with an offensive guru in Sean McVay, I think we're going to see Matthew Stafford have some of the best careers in his NFL career that we haven't seen since he was being held back by the Detroit Lions. You see, you can't blame a quarterback for a team not making it to the playoffs. The teams that make it to the playoffs are the teams that have good head coaches and are well-ran organizations. The Detroit Lions have been one of the worst-ran organizations, not only in the NFL, but in sports in general. So for the state of franchise for the LA Rams, I think right now they have entered their Super Bowl window, or re-entered their Super Bowl window, now that they got rid of Jared Goff, who's holding the team back. And I expect the LA Rams to be a Super Bowl contender come next year.